Hey, Kourtney,
Hey, Myles.
what happens when you put your hand in a blender?
Oh, that's gross. What?
You get a handshake.
Ew. Oh, I don't like that one. Take it back.
Never.
That's. Ugh, I don't like hand stuff. Don't do hand stuff.
What do you call a typo on a tombstone?
Unfortunate. What?
A grave mistake. Is that one better?
Yes, very much so.
I'm going to
Thank
keep that
you.
first one there.
Ew. Sorry to everyone who has like a weird hand phobia like me, because.
Yeah. Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year!
2023.
When this comes out, it will be January 1st.
Oh, yeah?
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, fine.
2023.
Yeah. The third year of 2020.
Of the 20s.
Hold on. 2020, part 3.
Yeah, there you go.
Part 1, part 2, part 3. No, it would be part 4. Because 2020 would be part 1, 2021, part 2, 2022, part 3. So 2023, part 4.
Did that hurt?
Yeah.
Ah, crazy. 2023. That's insane.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd live to be this old. 26.
Sorry, how old are you again, Courtney? 26?
Yeah.
No. You're not old until you're 27.
Because you're 27?
Yeah. And I'm old.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I agree. I'm just
Thanks.
kidding.
Jeez. Well, do you have any New Year's resolutions that you're willing to share with everyone? Or do you want to wait for that?
We can do that now.
Okay.
I don't know. I think for me, for 2023, I have a lot of kind of vague goals, but that's okay because I feel like if I get too specific, then I'm just going to disappoint myself.
Sure.
But I want to be healthier, obviously, in 2023, and I'm working on that right now. So I just want to continue that moving forward and just continue to be healthy with my choices and in my body and be happy with my body.
Fair enough.
And then I also would like to organize our house a little better
Okay.
because I'm getting kind of sick of clutter and I'm ready to declutter a little bit.
Welcome to parenthood.
And
I'm just kidding.
I think my last one is that I want to read more.
Read more. That's a good one.
Yeah. What about you?
I want to do more home-cooked meals. Because for us, DoorDash is both a blessing and a horrible curse.
I love DoorDash. What are you talking about?
Oh, me too. And that's what I'm saying. It's like I want to break that habit because it's money we could be saving and putting elsewhere.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
As long as you also do the dishes. That's not my favorite.
What are you talking about? I always do the dishes.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, are we starting a fight right now?
No, I'm just
Starting
kidding.
the new year
I was
with
just
our first fight of 2023.
I was just fishing for a reaction from
Yeah,
you.
I was going to say, I'm about to throw hands over here. So. No. You do help with the dishes, and I appreciate that. Do you have any other goals? So, more home-cooked meals?
Not really.
That's it?
Yeah.
Home-cooked meals.
I haven't given out much thought besides that.
Well, for us right now, you have 46 minutes to think about it because we are recording this at 11:14 on December 31st.
Maybe I'll get some inspiration from other people.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Are we ready to get into this then? Oh, this is I forgot to say this. This is like what, our third listener story? Listener story number 3.
Yes.
That's so exciting. It's also the first one of 2023.
Is that how that works?
1 of 12.
1 of 12. Oh yeah, there are 12 months.
Good times.
I need to go to bed.
Okay, let's go ahead and do this then. And hey, this is a good way to stay up until midnight though.
Yeah.
So that way we can tell people I'm clinking my glass.
Clink.
That way we can tell people we did stay up till midnight on New
Yeah.
Year's Eve.
I mean, I just barely got off of work like half an hour ago, but
No, it's because we're super cool. We partied until midnight. No, I'm just kidding.
we're young parents. We can stay up late.
When the truth is, you got off work late, and we have a podcast that we're dedicated to.
Truth.
Let's crack into it with our first story. Get this.
It's my turn to sound a little bit congested this time too.
Yeah. Let me play the world's smallest violin for you.
Get over it. I was so nice to you when you were sick.
I was just saying that to get a reaction out of you. I really am genuinely sorry that you're sick. It sucks.
It's your fault. At work today, one of the pharmacists and I were talking, and I mentioned to him that you had been sick. He's like, this is an actual real thing. It's like, one in a relationship, when you guys have been together for a while, one of you will get sick, and then as soon as that one is done being sick, it's the next person's turn. Like, it's a real thing. Like, it happens, I guess, as kind of like a carrying mechanism, whereas like you want to take care of the other person, and so your body like boosts up an immunity system. Yeah, boosts your immunity system a little bit more until they're better, and then it just goes on vacation or something.
Oh.
And then the other person gets sick. So that's what happened.
Interesting.
I think that's what happened.
Aw, your immune system wanted to care about me.
The only thing that did.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I love you.
that's nice. Okay.
Also, our New Year's, this isn't really a resolution. It's more of a goal. We want to expand our listener base.
Yeah.
So tell your friends about us.
Montana is carrying us on their shoulders, and
Go
we need to
Montana.
give them a little bit of a break.
Yeah, tell Canada. We don't have any listeners in Canada yet, I don't think.
True.
And they're right on the border, right?
Yeah, we still have several states to go as well. Aren't you ready for a story?
I'm so ready.
Okay. So this one is from Josh. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Okay, so he says, "Hey Family Podcast, you guys asked for holiday themed stories, and I remembered this one that seemed like a good one to share. When I was younger, probably 7 or 8, my family was planning on traveling to my grandparents for Christmas. We had a layover in a completely random city that we had never been to before. I honestly don't even remember which one it was. When we got off our first flight, our Christmas luck seemed to have run out. Our next flight kept getting delayed, and then eventually was canceled due to the weather. That's the worst."
Mm-hmm. Didn't that just happen to your parents?
Yeah, they were on their way back from Hawaii, and their flight got canceled. They had to be rerouted to Vegas for a day. So
I mean, there are worse things.
it happens. It definitely is inconvenient, but it happens. Anyways, he says, "My parents are doing their best to find alternative plans and other flights to get us to my grandparents, but it seemed like we would be stuck there until the next morning." Yikes. I had my 2 brothers with me, and it was getting late. Of course, we weren't tired at all, so my dad walked us around the airport for what felt like hours. It was super cool. Okay.
And he said he didn't remember which airport it was? Because there are some pretty cool airports out there.
That's true.
Like the one in... So on my way back from Europe, we stopped in Munich for a layover. And like... Their bathrooms were pristine.
In Munich?
In Munich. Munich, Germany. Like, they had this really cool... Sorry, you can get back to your story in a second. But I want to tell us because I think about it quite a lot whenever I go to airports. But there was... So, instead of paper towels, they had this huge... I don't even know how far back it went, but it was this constant spinning towel. Like, it was a hand towel, but it was all one. And it kept like spinning around, and it would sanitize itself on the way back, and then like you just dry your hands on it, like hold your hands up against it, and it'll dry. It was the coolest thing. It was awesome. So if you're ever in Munich, check out those bathrooms because they're pretty sweet.
That's funny. I love that you remember that.
Yeah, it's the little things in life.
Okay. It was so cool. The later it got, the more deserted it became, and we felt like we owned the place. We rode the escalators up and down more times than I could count. We even played games to see which elevators were the fastest, as my dad waited for us on the highest level. That's fun.
Okay, fair enough.
My favorite part of that night was when we were heading back to my mom, who had set up a temporary sleeping area for us in the corner between some chairs.
That's kind of cool.
And a late night security guard let us catch a ride on his golf cart thing. We felt like royalty. Looking back, I'm sure that was not the best night for my parents, but it was one of my favorite memories. Kudos to my dad for letting us have an adventure and blow off some steam in an airport, and my mom for holding down the fort. We did end up making it to my grandma's house the next day, and we were exhausted, but it was still a good time. Guess it goes to show you that you can turn just about any situation into a good experience with the right attitude and enough ignorance. Have a good, fair. Have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year. Sincerely, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. That was a funny story. Have you ever been stuck in an airport?
I don't think so, but whenever I hear about these kind of stories, do you remember it was a few years ago? There was a guy who he was they overbooked the plane or something, and he gave up his seat for like a complimentary ticket or something like that, and he had the whole airport to himself besides the security guards and everything, and he made that video to the song like all by myself. It was so funny. It was like a whole music video. It was really funny. Did you not see that?
No, I don't think I did.
Uh-huh.
That's funny though. I like that.
Yeah, I think about that also a lot. I have a weird thing with airports apparently.
This reminds me of a time that my family, we were on our way to Utah for Halloween from Wyoming to Utah. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about Wyoming roads during winter, or in this case, technically it was fall, sometimes we get crazy snowstorms and they are intense. Mm-hmm. And so my mom it was me and my 3 brothers, and we got stuck in bumper to bumper traffic. Like literally we were all at a standstill for several hours in the middle of a snowstorm. And I remember my poor mom was so stressed, and you could tell she was trying her hardest to just like kind of keep it together and figure out a plan. We had our dog with us too. And I remember cars would like pull off of the side of the road and then just like disappear into the snow because they were trying to find like the back roads.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so terrifying. And my mom, at one point, she got out of the car and was like walking from car to car trying to see if anyone had any extra gasoline. Oh. Because we were running out of gas. And yeah, that was crazy. We ended up pulling off of the road and finding a back road and getting to a town where we tried to find a hotel for the night, but unfortunately all of the hotels were booked. I think this was actually in Rawlins, Wyoming. All of the hotels were completely sold out, and so we ended up sleeping at a homeless shelter that night.
Oh.
Yeah, fun fact.
Okay. So
that's what we did. We slept. I remember.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, true story.
My wife has slept in a homeless shelter before.
Yeah, I remember trying to fall asleep on fold-out chairs. Mm-hmm. It was really uncomfortable. And then the next morning, they had free breakfast for everyone, and it was just like boxes of cereal with like paper bowls and things like that. And my brother Logan poured orange juice in his cereal, and I remember telling him he was disgusting, and he tried to prove to me that it was delicious. So we did end up making it to Utah the next day, but I could not imagine like the stress my mom was going through that night as a parent. Mm-hmm. Oh, I cannot even imagine.
And with a dog too.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. 4
kids.
Dang.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks Josh for that. We only have one more story, but then we do have a few more things to talk about. So I'll pass this to you.
Okay. Who sent this one in? Oh, this one is from Randall. Thanks, Randall. All right. Hello. Nice. Straight to the point. I like it. Hello. This is a story of my lucky day. Earlier this year, I had one of the best days of my entire life. Everything that could go right for me did, and I consider it one of the luckiest days of my life. It started when I woke up just after 7:30 to find out that my house lost power. How lucky is that, you might ask? I had an important meeting at work that morning that I couldn't be late for. I am one of those old schmucks that uses an alarm clock that plugs into the wall. So, since I had no power, I had no alarm clock. My clock would have been set for 7:30, and I just happened to wake up in time without any help. That is pretty lucky.
Yeah, for sure.
The next thing that happened is that I went to Starbucks on my way to work to get my favorite coffee. The person in front of me paid for my drink. I love it when that happens.
I know.
That rarely ever happens, and usually when it does, I feel the pressure to pay for the person behind me as well. But this morning there was no one behind me. It was a genuine act of kindness, and I was given the chance to pay it forward on my own terms and not from the pressure of a Starbucks line.
Fair enough.
Yeah. When I got to work, my meeting went great, absolutely flawless in my opinion. I found out shortly after that I was one of a select few that was chosen to be a part of a project that brought me a pretty hefty raise along with it. Nice.
Yeah.
A huge honor and definitely a blessing with the pay increase.
Mm-hmm.
On my way home that afternoon, I stopped at a stoplight. I was behind one other car. Once the car started going, they were T-boned by a teenage driver who had ran the red light. They were both okay, but the cars were not. I was the one on scene to call the police, but I consider myself lucky because a few blocks before, that same car had rushed to get in front of me. I wasn't bothered at all, but if they hadn't done that, I could have been the one in the accident, and I wasn't. I consider that a win. My wife had a work party that night that included free drinks, score, and raffle tickets for 55-inch flat screen TV. I never win anything with these, but they are fun to play. I bet you can see where this is going. Out of the 200 plus people at this party, I was the lucky winner of the new TV. These might not seem like a huge deal to some, but they all happened in one day, and that day was just great. I woke up feeling great, and I went to bed on a high. I was on top of the world. Feel free to share this on your podcast. I enjoy your stories. Wishing you the best, Randall.
Wow.
What a lucky day.
Awesome. Thanks, Randall.
What's a guy got to do to get that kind of luck?
Seriously. Wow, does that sound like a good day? I want a free 55-inch flat screen TV.
Yeah, I want to see someone get in a car wreck. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Honestly, though, I know you said he wasn't bothered by that, but that's also kind of one of those things where you're like, sucks to be you.
Right.
Because you got in front of me, but maybe I'm just like a petty driver.
Sounds like they had it coming. I'm petty too. If you really want to get to know a person, drive with them in, like, what's it called?
Traffic?
Yeah, traffic, but...
Rush hour?
Rush hour. Rush hour traffic.
All right, so that was all that we had as far as stories for this episode, but I did pull up a few fun things about New Year that I figured we could share.
Oh, cool.
Figured that would be fun. So the first one that I pulled up is some myths and legends behind the New Year. So I figured I could share the first few and then you could share the rest of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so here are some myths and legends behind the New Year. So the first one on the list is the 12 grapes. Have you ever heard of that?
The 12 grapes?
Mm-hmm.
No, never.
This is actually something that I started to see a lot of on TikTok recently. People are like, if you want luck for the New Year, go underneath your table and eat 12 grapes at midnight.
Okay.
And I had never heard that before, and now it's like all over my For You page. Anyway, so it says that the 12 grapes is a Spanish tradition that has spread to many Spanish-speaking countries in South America, and it is to eat 12 grapes at the stroke of midnight. Each grape represents a month of the coming year, and in some traditions, one grape should be eaten for each chime of the clock striking 12. Don't choke.
Yeah, seriously, that seems like a very rapid succession of grape eating.
Yeah. It is thought that if you manage to eat all 12 grapes, you will be lucky in the upcoming year, and if you fail, you will face misfortune. So maybe choke if it gets you lucky.
Maybe that's what Randall did.
Maybe. Randall, did you have the grapes? Is that what's going on? Well, this may have become a superstition. The origin of the tradition actually has a very mundane route, and it has nothing to do with the supernatural at all. The superstition is said to have come from the French tradition of eating grapes and drinking champagne to welcome in the new year. People in Madrid began to mimic the tradition, and as it spread, people began to believe that the eating of the grapes was lucky.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, there's that.
What happens if you're allergic to grapes?
Then there's no luck for you.
Because dogs can't eat grapes.
That's true. But dogs They don't need luck. They just need pets.
You can get right tomorrow. She's asleep right next to me. It's like, what do you want?
All right. So the next one on the list is fortune telling. There are hundreds of small tricks from around the world that claim to let you know your future, from throwing bones to a child's paper fortune teller. It's not surprising to learn that some of these methods are tied into specific dates or holidays. For example, an old British tradition of the peeling an apple on Halloween and throwing the skin over your shoulder is said to reveal the initial of your future husband. I never heard that before.
You gonna try that? I'm just kidding. What kind of bones?
I would assume animal bones.
Okay.
But I didn't look too much into it.
Okay.
In Finland, however, there is an unusual method of fortune telling traditionally performed on New Year's Eve. Small pieces of metal, typically lead or tin, are placed in a spoon and melted over a candle. The molten metal is then dripped into a bowl of cold water, where it solidifies. The shape is then rotated in candlelight to form shadows. It is said that the shadows the metal casts will predict your future for the coming year. For example, if it forms a ring, then there will be a marriage. While if it looks like a boat or a plane, it may represent traveling or holidays.
That makes sense.
And that's it for that one. Interesting.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot of effort. But
maybe not even worth it.
yeah.
Just kidding. For those people who practice that, keep doing your thing. Whatever works for you.
Yeah, seriously. All right. So the third one is burning effigies. Have you ever heard of those?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what that was. So for anybody else that doesn't know, it is like a sculpture or a statue of a person. Typically it's like made out of straw or hay, and they're decorated and they look kind of cool. But in Ecuador, there is a tradition of burning an effigy on a bonfire. The effigy represents the old year, everything that you disliked or would have changed about it. So it's very like symbolic. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
They are often made in the shape of someone famous, either political figures, famous people, or fictional characters. Leaping over this bonfire is thought to bring good luck. That's kind of weird. Like, imagine being, I don't know, Britney Spears, for example, and people are burning statues of you for New Year's.
I mean, like, I'm flattered. Question mark. But
much like the eating grapes at midnight, this is another superstition that originated from natural events, although the origins of the tradition are a tad more morbid. The ritual is said to have started in 1895 when a terrible epidemic hit Ecuador. Coffins were stuffed with the clothes of the dead and set alight, symbolizing new beginnings and purification of the disease. So I guess it's not too horrible.
mm-hmm.
While it may not have been done symbolically, the burning of the clothes may have helped with the epidemic, destroying items that had been contaminated by the illness. Cool. When it said morbid, I thought I was going to go to a different direction.
Yeah. Do you want to know how I know about effigies?
Yeah, tell me.
So this is the nerdy part of me. So there's a video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls.
Oh, yeah.
The one that I spent hours playing. Anyway, in one of them, they have the effigies and like burning them, because a big part of the Dark Souls franchise is like bonfires are like the safe spot for you. Like, you rest at a bonfire, you gain all your health back and everything, all that stuff.
Okay.
But when you burn an effigy at a bonfire, it like repels, so because it's an online game as well, so other people can like invade you and try to kill you and everything, but burning the effigies at the bonfire prevents that.
Oh.
So yeah,
Interesting.
nerdy Myles. Push my glasses up. All right, so this one is ringing the bells. In Japan, it is tradition to herald in the new year by ringing the temple bells in an event known as Joya no Kane. The bells are rung 108 times. Well, Quasimodo here. Just kidding. He's French. beginning on December 31st with the final bell rung after midnight in the early hours of January 1st. The bells are rung 108 times because this is the number of earthly temptations that, according to Buddhist teachings, people must overcome in order to reach nirvana. These can include such things as greed, falseness, egoism, and cruelty. Well, I could use some of that. It is thought that by hearing the bells ring, people's sins are wiped clean and they are able to enter the new year with a fresh slate. While the bells can be heard in temples across Japan, one of the most famous locations to hear the bells rung is in the province of Kyoto. In Kyoto, at the temple of Chionin, 17 monks are required to ring the temple's immense 70-ton bell.
Wow.
Yeah, they would need quite a bit of people for that.
Yeah.
That's the end of that one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Japan has some pretty cool traditions. I like Japan a lot.
We should go visit.
Okay, I'm down.
Okay.
Good skiing in Japan. I don't do skiing, but I've heard. All right. The next one is getting drunk.
Woo!
Not that most of us needed an excuse to celebrate in this fashion, but technically by getting drunk at New Year's, you may be honoring an old Egyptian festival. The Egyptian calendar looked quite different to our own, and their New York took place in summer. New York. Their New Year took place in summer, while when the Nile flooded, bringing with it new life. During the first month of the new year, the Tech Festival, or the Festival of Drunkenness, was celebrated. The festival commemorated the survival of humanity from attacks of the ferocious Sekhmet, or the lion-headed warrior goddess. While the god Ra had initially set her to destroy humanity for their greed and cruelty, he changed his mind, deciding that if they were to teach humanity a lesson, there must be humans still alive to have learned it. Makes sense. A large barrel of beer was dyed bright red and left in Sekhmet's path. Believing that it was blood, the goddess drank it all, becoming sleepy and docile, returning to Ra and ending the slaughter. As the name suggests, the festival was celebrated with revelry, excitement, and of course, alcohol. The Egyptians did it right. I'm just kidding.
So she initially thought that she was drinking blood?
Yeah.
That's gross.
Well, she went down there to kill people, so.
Doesn't make it less gross.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like ancient Egypt. I think they have interesting.
Good skiing. Just kidding.
Good fishing in Quebec. Just kidding. You wouldn't know that reference. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. So this one is fireworks. One of the most famous ways of celebrating New Year's is, of course, with fireworks. The magical explosive displays are shown in capital cities across the world and can cost up to as much as £3.4 million. Cool.
That was my sad attempt at a whistle.
Much like the fireworks themselves, the tradition of firework displays on New Year's Eve originates from China. It was said that every New Year a terrifying creature emerged from its hiding place beneath the sea to sate its hunger. The creature, known as the Nian, would come inland. As food was sparse during the winter, the Nian would travel to villages consuming crops and livestock and, in the more terrifying accounts, children.
Ugh.
That's pretty horrible. Every year, the villagers would be forced to flee into the mountains to avoid the monster. One year, however, they learned that the creature could be held off by loud noises and the color red. Once this was learned, the villagers stayed at home, banging drums, hanging up scarlet lanterns, and of course combining the two with loud firecrackers. Nowadays, of course, these superstitions and traditions tend to be less a genuine attempt to bring good fortune or predict the coming year, and instead serve as a fun way to celebrate. They are used at parties, amongst other traditions such as the signing of the Auld Lang Syne and New York's Ball Drop, to celebrate everything good that has happened in the previous one and hope that this coming year will be better. Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Chinese New Year is pretty interesting because the color red is also, I mean, this probably ties into their whole superstition behind that sea monster, but they believe that the color red brings good fortune, so that's why they have like a lot of red dragons and red lanterns and stuff.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, and fun fact actually, so buying books on their New Year, the Chinese New Year, has the opposite effect according to their beliefs.
What do you mean?
Like, it has the opposite effect. Like, it'll bring bad luck
Oh.
if you buy books and sweep your house and a couple other things. But to me, it kind of just sounded like they were lazy. I'm just kidding. But yeah, but it was things that so like washing your hair and sweeping your house was considered bad luck.
I've heard that. Well, aren't those like old commandments that were a thing when Jesus was alive? Like during Jesus' time, they had laws that was like you can't walk 12 steps on a Sunday or something like that. And one of them was obviously you can't go to the market, things like that. And a lot of them just sound like the same thing. Like, were these people just being lazy?
Right.
You know. Anyways, that's interesting. Interesting. Yeah. It's kind of cool to hear like what other people believe across the world.
For sure.
And I'm sure, people don't necessarily believe all these things now. I'm sure people do, but even 100 years ago, without the kind of technology that we have, what would we have believed?
Right. There's an old German tradition as well. Well, I don't know how old it is, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty old. But they'll serve this dish called Hopping John.
Hopping John.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it sounds pretty gross. It's peas and rice boiled together.
Huh.
And they believe that if you serve that on New Year's Eve, then you'll have a prosperous year.
Huh. Interessante. I think I'll take my chances, but just kidding.
Yeah, because it doesn't sound appetizing to me, at least. So if you're into that,
go for it. Yeah. All right. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to share was the 10 most common New Year's resolutions. When you had the computer, did you sneak peek any of these?
No. Well, I saw the first one, but I figured that was going to be on there anyway.
Okay, so do you have any guesses on what the other ones are?
I'm going to guess exercising. What are other ones that are popular? Is reading on there?
Yes.
Reading is on there because that was one of yours. Not saying that you're a bandwagon person.
Oh, I definitely am. It's fine. I get my ideas from the internet, so.
Learn a language.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, that's all my guesses.
Okay, so I'm gonna read them from 10 down to 1, the 10 most common New Year's resolutions. So 10 is read more, which you got that. Number 9 is travel more. Number 8, spend more time with family and friends. Number 7, quit smoking. Number 6, save more money / spend less money.
Okay.
Which was kind of yours.
Yeah, kind of.
Kinda.
I guess that's like an effect of what I want to do, but
yeah. Number 5, live life to the fullest.
What does that mean?
That's
a very broad.
Vague. I don't know, whatever that means for you.
Because, I mean, that could involve, like, all of these things.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just number 5. It's the 5th most common.
Okay.
Number 4, learn a new skill or hobby.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by kind of when
With
you said
language.
learn a language, yeah. So it doesn't specifically say that, but totally can fit in that category. Number 3, get organized, which was also one of mine.
Yep.
Number 2, lose weight. Number 1, exercise more.
Cool.
So 10 most common, and just so you guys know, it is not a bad thing to have these as your goals. You can be a bandwagoner like me. Myles can be a hater from the sidelines.
I usually am.
Cool.
Well, cool. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, so we would love to hear what your guys' New Year's resolutions are. So feel free to send us a message, post about it, tag us, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
And we hope that all of your resolutions and dreams and wishes come true.
Yeah, and that they don't fail in the first week. Well, after the first week. The first week is usually the best.
Myles, our listeners are special. They will get it done.
Okay. I believe in you guys.
They'll make it to the end of February.
I believe in you, Montana. To the end of February. I just got what you just said. You're funny.
Thanks. Glad you think so.
Yeah. Well, we have 8 minutes till the new year.
8 minutes. Did you come up with any more New Year's resolutions?
No, not really. I'm happy with my one.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
I'm just kidding.
What if
I don't know.
my resolution was like more DoorDash and yours was less?
Well, we'll have different goals.
And we'll be eating differently
Yeah.
throughout the year. I'm just kidding.
I know. So my ones from last year, one of them was to read more, and I did, but that's not saying much because I didn't read too much before. And my other one was to be, I guess less of a people pleaser, because I am very much a people pleaser. I want to make sure that everyone around me is comfortable, but it got to a point where I'm like, I'm not really taking care of myself all that much. And so I started being like a little bit more upfront with people. Didn't care if they thought different of me or anything.
Yeah. No, I'm proud of you for that. I feel like you did a good job standing up for yourself and you know, putting yourself first in situations where that was really important.
Yeah. Because it is important.
Yeah. I don't remember what my resolutions were for 2022. 2022 kind of was a blur.
Yes, that is very much true.
It was a good year. Like, I don't really think that we had too many things happen where I would say, like, you know, to hell with 2022. Like, I genuinely think I had a good year.
Yeah, it was.
But,
it was good.
What was that?
Snapchat. Someone wants to be my friend. Never heard of him before, though.
They're probably from Montana.
They're listening.
No, but anyways, I am looking forward to 2023. I am just excited for what is to come. So
yeah.
Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. If you know, as always, if you have any stories you want to share with us, please feel free to send them in. We would love to share them on the podcast. Send them to famdamilypodcast@gmail.com.
And also, don't forget to tell your friends and family members and everyone you know and meet on the street and work with and maybe people that you're sitting next to on a flight. Tell them about us.
Yeah, seriously. We would love to have more dammers in our life.
More dammers.
But yeah, stay tuned for the cool things that we have coming up this year. And thanks for being just the best listeners ever.
Do you remember 2020? Like when 2020 was about to hit? And everyone's like, this is going to be my year.
2020. Yeah, because it was
then
like
it tanked.
the new decade.
Yeah. And then it just tanked.
And then the C word happened.
The coronavirus.
And hold on. Let's do a 2020 recap. What happened?
Because C word can mean a lot of different things.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate
This is
that.
PG podcast.
COVID happened. Tiger King happened.
The election, but we won't go into that.
Whipped coffee was a thing.
What?
Whipped coffee.
What is that?
It was like a trend all over TikTok. I didn't participate in it, but it basically, like, people were making whipped drinks. I did participate because I did the strawberry.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, because I did like the strawberry milk version of it, and
that was good.
It was like the recipe was like whip for 2 minutes until it becomes this fluff, and I whipped for 20 minutes and it barely became fluff. It did eventually become, but I sat in that kitchen forever whipping together this strawberry milk. Tasted good though.
It did taste good.
Yeah. Anyways, we are gonna go and eat 12 grapes really quick. So
don't forget about the New Year's kiss.
Oh yeah, I guess that too.
I'm
Denver
That was perfect.
People just called over our dogs. Oh my gosh, why are we the same person?
Yeah, I don't know, that was kind of freaky.
That was so funny. All right, we should go. We're rambling.
Yeah, and I'm getting slap happy. So.
Same.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Damily, and stay tuned next week for my special episode. It's not special. It's just another episode.
Yep, Myles' episode is coming up, and don't forget to have a good year. Period. ? If you want, proceed with caution.
Yes,
Look
definitely.
both ways before you cross the new year.
Don't get your hopes up too much. Like, hope for the best, expect the worst.
We got this, guys. We got this.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.